his traps and his lats are always activated when he's in the octagon. It's unbelievable, and I can't wait to see this fight. I hope he decapitates Neil Magny. I'm sure he's a nice fella. I think Magny's a really good fighter. I just love Robbie Lawler. He's an OG. I remember when he had hair. I remember when he fought in Strikeforce against Scott Smith. So I'm all for it. I'm Team Robbie Lawler all the way, Zach.
Yeah, I think his first fight in the UFC was UFC 37. I think it may have been a bit later, but that really shows. It was definitely before UFC 100, and that really shows that how long he's been in the UFC, how long he's been around, the experience that generated from that. He hasn't fought in over a year, and I think his last fight was a loss. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to come back, especially with the whole pandemic situation going on. But I'm sure that's just encouraged him to just kind of stay with his team in a small bubble even more. But we're all talking about Lawler here, but you can't just disregard Magny because he's an excellent fighter. He's one of those guys as well for that division as well. Like, he's just all-rounded good. He can strike. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got good wrestling as well. Got good knockout power. So I think it's going to be a really, really fun fight. And to be honest, I wouldn't be... You know what? I'm actually going to go with Magny on this. I wouldn't be surprised if he got the win. You know, he's a fresher fighter. And Lawler is an OG, as you said, and I love him. But I think Magny's just going to be a bit more sharper, be a bit more fresh, stepping into that octagon. You know, he's been more active, and I think he, like Lawler as well, with his takedown defense, everything. But I think Magny's skills are more sharpened at this point in time,
right?
And I believe that's what's making win. I could see what should be 3 rounds. So I could even see Magny maybe like submitting him. Like, who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but that's a really exciting fight. It's fairly even as well, I would say.
Yeah, and I think Robbie Lawler is coming off the Colby loss, and then he has the Askren loss, right? So
yeah, but that was obviously controversial. But yeah, it was Askren and then Colby, both top level guys.
If Robbie loses this fight, does he go to PFL and fight Rory McDonald for the $1 million or Bellator?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see him go down the BJ Penn route, you know, just lose every fight. But I've got my win my last one. I think he's been more level-headed than that. Whatever happens, I'm sure he's going to take time to make a rational decision on what next. But yeah, he's after that money. We've seen a lot of fighters. They may not be as well known and as higher ranked, but they're definitely for sure making more money in places like Bellator and PFL and One than they are in the UFC. Especially even though the Reebok deal is expiring. But with the whole limits and everything, with the problems that we've seen with fighters and Dana, it seems to be the number one issue. I don't blame Lawler if he wants to go and make more money and have some sponsors on his shorts, you know, not just the cage. So I wouldn't blame him if he decided to leave the UFC, win or lose after, because even if he wins, can we see him challenging for the belt again with the talent in that division? Realistically, no, I don't think so. So I think it'd be a great move for him to go enter that $1 million tournament.
Or Robbie Lawler fights Tyron Woodley when he loses to Colby. And you can finally run that back, because that was a first-round knockout. That wasn't really like a hardcore fight. That was like an explosive first-round knockout at UFC 201.
Yeah, and they were meant to fight again as well. I think that was meant to be Woodley's fight back, and I think it was Woodley that pulled out. My apologies if I'm mistaken, but I think he pulled out, and then we just kind of never heard anything from that. But I think, let's say if Woodley does lose to Colby, you know, that's a really interesting fight for him, and I'm sure he knows in his head he's already beat Lawler. And I think he would beat Lawler again, if I'm being honest. But that would be another possibility as well. But we're lucky that Robbie Lawler's lucky. He's a legend. And even though, let's say, he's losing fights, there's still so many opportunities for him. But does he want to turn into a gatekeeper of the UFC? That's the question.
There's only one guy at 170 that could lose every single fight and still get title shots in main events, and it's Nick Diaz. And he hasn't really fought in a long time. Like, Nick Diaz can lose to everybody, and he'll still be a pay-per-view main event for the title. Like, that's just, he's one of a kind.